aware of the truth. What's the plan? At the American Liberty Council last October, Truth Attack finally got in a position where it felt they could unveil its plan. And the plan is to consolidate the freedom movement behind one issue at a time. Right now we're fragmented. Government isn't. The government's got it together. They've got us broken up. So what do we have to do? We've got to consolidate. We got to consolidate us, and we got to fragment them. Now the way we fragment them, we can't break them up, but we can single them out. Now imagine a schoolyard, a playground, where a gang or a group of bullies has taken over the playground more or less, terrorizing the kids. Nobody can play, nobody's having fun. And the kids know that we can't beat that gang of bullies. I mean, we could all fight with them and we just get all beat up again. But it finally occurs to a group of these kids that if we single out one of those bullies, catch him off to himself, we can drag him down and we can administer some justice. Right? We can pull this kid down. I don't care how much bigger he is. If there are 5 or 6 of us, we can pull him down and we can banish him from the school ground. Okay? Now, if once we do that, what are the other kids going to say when they see that? Looks like fun, huh? Is this group of kids going to be smaller or larger the next day?
Smaller.
And then whenever they turn around, they pick out a second bully, and a third bully, and a fourth bully. Now sure, the gang is going to retaliate. They're going to try to terrorize. And just like whenever you kill a snake, it's going to ride and thrash about. And you're going to have to hang on tight. But as long as we keep singling them out, and we keep unifying ourselves and consolidating ourselves, and we get stronger, and they don't, because they're still one at a time, we can beat this beast. We can put the government back in its box, one tentacle at a time. I think I mentioned earlier, somebody emailed me when we changed up the truth text subline, putting the government back in its box, one tentacle at a time. And he says, Mr. Cryer, I just want to let you know that you guys misspelled testicle. We want to open up three fronts. We want to surround the beast. A legal front, a political front, and a public relations front. It's going to take all three. Now, a legal front, that's where the teeth and talons are of the I.R.S. The legal front is where it can hurt you. So, do we send people in there where they can get hurt? Or do we just send in lawyers?
There you go.
Yeah. Let's send the lawyers in there. We're looking for test cases. We'll get into that. The political front is where we have to take, the gentleman that was up here a minute ago, Mike, had a great point. You know, representation is directly proportionate to how much our representatives represent us. Well, the bottom line word on that is accountability. We've got to make our representatives accountable. Now, how do we do that? We got 435 congressional districts in the country. There aren't enough of us to cover all those.
Can we shoot them?
Well, let's see. You know, the old Chinese proverb, to frighten 100 monkeys, what do?
I have no idea.
You kill one.
Ah, well, there you go.
You know, a while back, I used to be chairman of one of the parties, thinking I was doing good, you know, and I was only advancing the right leg of the tyrant, you know. And during my tenure, I mentioned this earlier during one of the conversations with some of the folks here, I ran 11 races and I won all 11 of them. I quit when I was 11-0. And I didn't feel good about it because I realized I was spinning my wheels. I was actually helping the tyrant. But I was taking a lunch one day after an election by a guy that we'd just gotten elected to school board. And he took me to lunch to thank me for my help. And he was telling me that the biggest problem that they had was discipline. That just maintaining control in the classroom took so much time, energy, and attention that they hardly had any to spend on educating the kids after they had control. And I said, well, you know, you just have to to come up with a new policy. He says, like what? I said, like a new death policy, new death penalty. And he says, what do you mean? I said, well, if a principal and 2 teachers sign off on it, it's a death warrant. You call a general assembly that afternoon, you put all the kids in the bleachers, you put this kid out here on the 50-yard line in a folding chair, ROTC marches out, blows him away. That afternoon, the bus pulls up in front of the kid's house and the body bag slides down the steps. He's cracking, he's doing the same thing, he's laughing. He thought I was joking. And he says, yeah, the problem with that is you'd end up killing half of the student body. I said, no, you wouldn't. You'd kill 1, maybe 2. And you wouldn't have a discipline problem. So to frighten 400, how many monkeys do we have to kill?
2, 5.
You're gonna
10.
see how that can happen.
Help us out.
You can see how that could happen. So these are the 3 fronts. Public relations. People are convicting people. They're putting people in prison because they don't believe the same that they do. And why do these juries believe it? Because they've been told that by somebody else. Now the guy on the stand, fighting for his life, and I know what he feels like. The guy standing there fighting for his life, he's telling them what the law says. Do they believe it? No, they send him to prison for saying the wrong thing. Everybody knows the earth is flat, right? And so if somebody says the earth is round, they burn them at the stake. Now, if everybody said, I don't know if the earth is flat or if it's round. Maybe it's flat, maybe it's round. Are they going to burn anybody for saying one way or the other? The jury's going to keep convicting? What happened after Prohibition when juries got fed up and they stopped convicting people? Prohibition ended. So, in addition to these 3 fronts, we're incorporating, and we have an awful lot of allies that we have gained in the free media. We know that the mainstream media is owned by big business. Big business is owned by the big bankers. The big bankers are the owners of the Fed, and the Fed is the other half of the problem. Government and big business in an unholy marriage equals fascism. That's what we've got. So our media is controlled. So what we have to do is we've got to address the media from the ground up. And we still got a lot of free media out there, people who don't know they're controlled. LWRN stands for Liberty Works Radio Network. I've got some CDs back here. We have an opportunity to create a network that with 1 station or 2 stations, we can cover the entire United States by the use of translators. These are devices that are installed on a radio tower that take a downlink from a satellite, and they then transmit out to that area just as though the radio station was right there. We could have Freedom Radio, not Rush Limbaugh, not Hannity Combs or Holmes or whatever his name is. Sean Hannity, I think his name is. Have you ever heard any of those guys talk about getting any freedom back? No. They're pretending, they're pandering. Not one time. All they're doing is feeding their entertainers. And the sad part is they make us feel like we've got a voice. We don't have a voice. We've just got somebody who's saying what we want to hear. They're not telling anything that needs to be said, like that's got to stop. And this has got to go back where it belongs. And this has got to be done away with entirely. Not once. We need benefactors. I mentioned a while ago that we are, in effect, Bastogne. We're surrounded by the enemy. We're outnumbered. We're outgunned. And we need bullets. We can't do it without bullets. We need an airdrop, and we need it every day. We need it every month. On Liberty Works Radio Network, we have an opportunity right now that I want to mention. And that opportunity is that we can pick up 3 stations and get started right now. We don't have to wait until we have enough members. We can start right now if we just had 100 people who will commit $100 a month to Liberty Works Radio Network. I'm very proud to say, the first one to do that, but the very first person to enroll and enlist as a truth trooper in Truth Attack with Steve Hempling. So, you know, Sean, you can verify that I made that disclosure. Oh, here he is in the back. The very first truth trooper was Steve Hempling.